Royal drama strikes again. Just when things seemed calm, a new secret has surfaced, and it's shaking up social media worldwide.
A media earthquake has officially struck the Montecito mansion as a series of top-secret letters from 2001 between Meghan Markle and her college sweetheart, Giuliano, have suddenly been leaked. The explosive collection of documents has exposed a dark chapter that Meghan allegedly spent more than 2 decades trying to bury in order to pave her way into the most powerful family in the world. The scandal immediately dragged the British royal family into the center of the storm, forcing Princess Anne to step forward and take charge of the growing crisis. The conflict escalated even further as new pieces of evidence continued to emerge, infuriating the monarchy and pushing Meghan and Prince Harry's marriage toward a dangerous breaking point. Can Meghan continue using the media to portray herself as the victim and turn the tide against Princess Anne's unwavering determination? And what final judgment awaits her now that Harry's trust has been completely shattered? Turmoil has once again descended upon the Montecito mansion, but this time it comes in the form of a media storm far more devastating than any scandal before it. Everything began when a collection of private correspondence dating all the way back to 2001 between Meghan and a man named Giuliano was suddenly leaked and spread across online platforms at breathtaking speed. These handwritten letters and old email exchanges instantly became the center of global attention after exposing an astonishing secret that Meghan had allegedly done everything possible to conceal for more than 2 decades. At the heart of the revelation was the existence of a child shared between her and Giuliano. It was a chapter from her past that she had reportedly worked tirelessly to erase, removing every trace in order to build a flawless personal history before becoming a member of the British royal family. The situation quickly grew far beyond the level of ordinary tabloid speculation. The overwhelming public pressure and the highly sensitive nature of the allegations pulled the British royal family directly into the controversy. Faced with the threat of severe damage to the monarchy's reputation, Buckingham Palace could no longer remain silent. Princess Anne, long recognized as a practical, uncompromising royal who has always placed duty above all else, was entrusted with the responsibility of taking charge of the crisis. Immediately after receiving the information and assessing the seriousness of the leaked correspondence, Princess Anne wasted no time. She personally reached out to Meghan in the United States to verify the truth surrounding her past relationship with Giuliano, as well as the claims regarding their alleged child. However, contrary to the palace's expectation of cooperation in resolving the matter quietly, Meghan adopted an exceptionally firm stance. During their conversation, she flatly refused to cooperate, denied every allegation, and offered no satisfactory explanation for the documents that had just been exposed. Meghan's refusal to cooperate not only deepened the growing suspicions, but also pushed her relationship with the leadership of the British royal family in London to an unprecedented level of tension. What will Meghan do next to withstand the mounting pressure from the palace, and will Princess Anne simply overlook this open refusal to cooperate? Meghan Markle's refusal to cooperate with Princess Anne was far from the end of the matter. Rather than choosing silence to ease the situation or seeking a private resolution within the family, Meghan decided to strike first using her most familiar and powerful weapon, the mainstream media. Only a short time after the confrontational phone call from London, Meghan used media outlets closely aligned with her in the United States to release a series of explosive statements aimed directly at Princess Anne. In a carefully orchestrated public address, Meghan did not hesitate to cast herself as the victim driven into a corner. She publicly claimed that she was being subjected to a ruthless campaign of defamation and psychological intimidation by senior members of the royal family. Quoting Meghan's official statement, broadcast through the media, "I can no longer remain silent while my private life and my dignity are being trampled without any legitimate basis. What is happening is nothing less than a systematic campaign of intimidation designed to silence my voice. Princess Anne has used her position and authority to repeatedly pressure me, confronting me with baseless accusations from my past. They want to use these malicious rumors to isolate me, force me into submission, and push me into a corner. This is an unacceptable act of psychological bullying against a mother and a wife who is simply trying to protect her small family from the conservative forces in London. Meghan's attempt to turn the truth upside down immediately ignited a fierce wave of controversy across the international public. Inside Buckingham Palace, Princess Anne was deeply angered by what she viewed as her niece-in-law's deception and blatant disrespect toward the royal family. Meghan had not only avoided confronting the truth, but had also gone so far as to publicly attack both Princess Anne's reputation and the monarchy itself. It was a red line that had now been crossed. Yet true to the character of a resilient royal woman, Princess Anne refused to engage in a noisy public war through newspaper headlines. Instead, she quietly and discreetly launched an independent investigation, assigning her most trusted and experienced personnel to uncover the full truth surrounding Meghan Markle's past in the United States. The covert investigation was carried out with extraordinary secrecy and remarkable speed in the state of Illinois, where Meghan had once attended university. Beginning with the leaked letters as their first clues, Princess Anne's private investigators and investigative team dug through archived records, old documents, and tracked down people who had known both Meghan and Joe Giuliano during their younger years. The findings that emerged were both authentic and profoundly shocking, matching the investigators' greatest suspicions in every significant detail. It turned out that during the early 2000s, while they were students at Northwestern University, Meghan Markle and Joe Giuliano had indeed shared an intensely serious romantic relationship. Their relationship had gone far beyond an ordinary college romance. According to the investigation, medical records were uncovered indicating that the two had a daughter together, whom they named Noel. During that period, Meghan and Joe Giuliano had reportedly even moved in together, living under one roof as a real family while raising their newborn child. However, the reason they never progressed to an official marriage and built a legally recognized life together was the opposition from Joe Giuliano's family. Joe's family came from a well-established and respected background, and from the very beginning, they reportedly disapproved of Meghan's personality background and what they perceived as her obvious ambition. The strong objections from Joe Giuliano's parents ultimately prevented the marriage from taking place, causing irreversible cracks to develop in the relationship, and forcing Meghan to confront one of the most difficult crossroads of her life before she entered the alluring world of entertainment. The most valuable evidence, including records documenting their cohabitation, the child's birth certificate, and identity documents connected to Joe Giuliano, had now all fallen into Princess Anne's hands. A historical truth that had allegedly remained buried for more than 20 years had finally been dragged into the light of royal justice. Now that Princess Anne possesses a complete collection of compelling evidence, how will she deal with Meghan, and will Prince Harry ultimately learn the shocking truth? After the independent investigation was completed, Princess Anne found herself in possession of a complete case file containing undeniable evidence of Noel's existence. With her trademark decisiveness, she immediately had the confidential dossier delivered directly to Meghan, accompanied by a brief but uncompromising ultimatum. The truth about Joe Giuliano and the child named Noel has been conclusively verified through legal documentation. You can no longer continue using the media to portray yourself as the victim. Face this reality before the royal family is forced to take even stronger measures. Yet Meghan remained defiant. She completely ignored the ultimatum, offered no response whatsoever, and believed that her silence would simply buy her more time. Seeing this open act of defiance, Princess Anne did not hesitate to make her next move. She decided to forward the entire collection of evidence to Prince Harry, along with a direct warning addressed to her nephew. "Harry, I am sending you these documents not to attack your wife, but so that you can finally see the truth she has hidden from you for all these years. This child is real, and her life with Joe Giuliano under the same roof was real. Do not allow yourself to remain blinded by deception any longer." When Prince Harry received the thick file from Princess Anne, filled with a birth certificate, medical records, and the letters exchanged years earlier, he was completely shaken. That very night, behind the closed doors of the Montecito mansion, An explosive argument unlike anything they had ever experienced erupted between husband and wife. Holding the file in his trembling hands, Harry confronted Meghan in a state of overwhelming anger and profound disappointment. Meghan, explain to me what all of this is. Who is Joe Giuliano? And where did this child named Noel come from? Why have you hidden something this enormous from me for so many years? You told me you had always been honest with me, yet you even concealed a child from your college years. Standing face to face with her husband's fury, Meghan remained as stubborn as ever. Drawing upon her characteristic sharpness, she immediately dismissed every accusation. Raising her voice, she flatly refused to acknowledge anything contained in the file. Harry, have you lost your mind? You're actually believing your family's dirty tricks. These are completely fabricated documents created by Anne to smear me and tear us apart. They want to destroy me, so they've invented some imaginary child from more than 20 years ago. I've never had any children besides Archie and Lilibet. You need to trust me, not a pile of worthless papers sent from London. Just as the conflict inside the marriage was reaching its breaking point, and Meghan continued to deny everything with unwavering determination, another devastating blow arrived from outside, destroying every effort she had made to reject the accusations. A woman claiming to have raised the child years earlier suddenly stepped into the public spotlight and revealed the cruel truths hidden within Meghan's past. The caregiver laid bare the entire story of how Meghan had abandoned her responsibilities as a mother in pursuit of fame and ambition. According to her testimony, once Meghan realized that her relationship with Joe Giuliano could never lead to marriage because of his family's opposition, and determined not to allow the situation to interfere with either her future or her ambitions of breaking into Hollywood, she made a cold and calculated decision. She agreed to hand over the newborn child to be raised entirely by someone else. To ensure that the secret would remain buried forever, Meghan allegedly severed all contact immediately afterward. She forced Joe Giuliano to sign a strict confidentiality agreement, committing himself to never reveal the existence of the child under any circumstances. At the same time, Meghan reportedly handed the caregiver a substantial sum of money, presenting it as a one-time payment to cover the child's upbringing while also serving as hush money to ensure her lifelong silence. The caregiver's confession struck like a bucket of ice water against every one of Meghan's explanations, exposing what she described as the calculating and emotionally detached side of Meghan during her younger years. Will this caregiver be able to produce any tangible evidence to prove that her testimony is true? And what will Harry do now that his trust in his wife has completely collapsed? The media storm showed no signs of subsiding as the woman who had raised the child years earlier decided to unleash her final devastating blow. No longer content with making accusations alone, she officially released an old childhood photograph of the girl named Noel. Although the child's face had been partially blurred to protect her privacy in accordance with legal requirements, the visible features were more than enough to leave viewers stunned. From the high forehead and the shape of the nose to the contours of the mouth, the child displayed unmistakable facial characteristics that bore an extraordinary resemblance to Meghan Markle's own childhood photographs. Alongside the release of this highly damaging image, the woman who had raised the child delivered a powerful and deeply emotional statement to the media. I have decided to come forward and bring this photograph into the light because I can no longer endure Meghan's lies. Just look at these features. No one can deny the blood that runs through this child's veins. Meghan may have used money to silence us for more than 20 years. She may have used the power of the media to build the image of a devoted mother and a human rights advocate fighting for women and children. But the truth is that she abandoned her own flesh and blood from the moment the child entered this world, all in exchange for a ticket into the elite entertainment industry. Her money and her confidentiality agreements cannot erase the fact that this child once existed and grew up without a mother's love. The release of the photograph, combined with the witness's statement, landed like an atomic bomb on the Sussex media operation in California. Behind the closed doors of the lavish Montecito mansion, The atmosphere was now suffocating heavy with unbearable tension. Prince Harry was left in a state of complete shock and emotional collapse. Slumped over on the sofa, his face buried in his hands, his entire body trembled as the brutal truth unfolded before the eyes of the world. The absolute trust he had placed in his wife for so many years officially shattered into countless pieces. Harry realized that the woman beside him, the one who had endlessly spoken about truth, justice, and compassion, had concealed a chapter of her past so shocking and so dark that it defied belief. When Meghan walked into the room intending once again to calm the situation and offer yet another explanation, Harry immediately sprang to his feet. The fiercest and most merciless confrontation their marriage had ever seen erupted without restraint. Pointing directly at the phone screen, displaying the child's photograph, Harry shouted in overwhelming anguish and fury, "Meghan, enough. Look at this photograph. Look at this child. She looks exactly like you. And you still want to tell me this is fabricated evidence created by Princess Anne. The woman who raised the child has come forward. She described every payment you made to silence her, every clause in the agreement you forced Giuliano to sign. How could you be this cruel? How could you lie to me like this? I gave up my family, my country, and every ounce of honor I had as a prince to stand beside you, to protect you from every attack the world threw at you. I thought I was defending a woman who had been deeply hurt. Instead, I've been defending one of the greatest deceivers imaginable. You turned me into a fool in front of the entire world." Meghan. In stark contrast to her husband's emotional collapse, Meghan, despite being overwhelmed by panic as she realized everything had spiraled beyond her control, continued fighting back with every ounce of her sharpness and argumentative skill. Crying and shouting over Harry's accusations, she desperately refused to surrender. "Harry, you need to come to your senses. Why are you turning against me at the very moment I need you most? They're all working together to destroy me." That woman, who raised the child, was obviously paid an enormous amount of money by people connected to the royal family in London to fabricate this photograph. They want to corner me. They want to destroy our marriage, so you'll crawl back to England, begging for forgiveness. If you let go of me now, then you've surrendered to every one of their dirty schemes. Everything I've done, every struggle I endured through those years in Hollywood, was for our future. You cannot believe them. You have to stand by me. The explosive confrontation continued for hours with no resolution in sight. Meghan's stubborn refusal to yield only widened the already deep fractures in their relationship. Trust had now been completely destroyed, and Harry realized he was facing an unimaginably bitter reality about the woman he had once admired above all else. After this explosive confrontation at Montecito, what final decision will the British royal family in London make to bring this earth-shattering scandal to a definitive end? While the Montecito mansion in the United States remained engulfed in an atmosphere of collapse and endless explosive arguments between Harry and Meghan, the leadership of the British royal family in London was enduring moments of extraordinary tension of its own. The scandal surrounding the leaked correspondence, the caregiver's confession, and the photograph of the child bearing striking similarities to Meghan had triggered a media earthquake that swept across headlines around the world. The reputation of the monarchy now faced its gravest threat in years. Confronted with the escalating crisis, Princess Anne immediately convened an emergency meeting at the palace to discuss and determine a decisive course of action. The meeting took place inside a highly secure conference room, attended by the royal family's key members and its most senior legal advisors. Standing at the head of the round table with her characteristic authority and unwavering composure, Princess Anne personally chaired the session and opened the proceedings with a firm and uncompromising statement, making the gravity of the situation unmistakably clear. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today not to discuss an ordinary tabloid rumor, but to confront the most serious reputational crisis this monarchy has faced in recent years. The documents concerning Meghan Markle's past in the United States with Giuliano along with the existence of the child named Noel, have now been fully exposed before the public. Her stubbornness, her deception, and her continued use of the media to portray herself as the victim have not only tarnished her own reputation, they are dragging the entire British royal family into the mud. We cannot and we will not allow someone with a history of deception and such a cold abandonment of her responsibilities as a mother to continue carrying the name of this royal family. The meeting room fell into complete silence beneath the weight of Princess Anne's words. She no longer wished to tolerate any delay or compromise regarding Meghan after the succession of controversies she had allegedly brought upon the family over the years. Princess Anne continued by emphasizing the decisive course of action that the monarchy now had no choice but to implement immediately in order to protect the crown. The time for leniency and private arrangements has come to an end. We must take the strongest possible legal and public communications measures to protect the reputation of the monarchy before this situation spirals beyond our control. I propose that we immediately begin the necessary legal procedures to remove Meghan Markle from every remaining royal title, sever every official and unofficial connection between her and the palace as quickly as possible. She must be stripped completely of her status as a member of the royal family. We must draw a clear line so the public understands that this institution does not tolerate deception or the concealment of such a shocking past. Princess Anne's proposal received unanimous support from those attending the meeting, as well as from the royal family's strategic advisors. Everyone agreed that removing Meghan from the royal institution had become a necessary and irreversible step to preserve the honor of the monarchy. Royal lawyers were immediately instructed to prepare the required legal documents for submission to the highest level of approval, laying the groundwork for an official public announcement. The decision marked an irreversible ending to Meghan Markle's ambitions for royal influence and prestige. Every effort she had allegedly made to construct the image of a perfect public figure, every lie she had supposedly concealed for more than 2 decades in preparation for entering the palace had now completely collapsed. The judgment from London had been decided, opening a new and far darker chapter for the woman who, according to the narrative, had buried her own future beneath the cold secrets of her youth. How do you feel about Meghan's decision to conceal her past as portrayed in this story, and Princess Anne's firm response to the situation? In your opinion, what lessons does this dramatic story offer about honesty in relationships and the price people may pay for personal ambition? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the next video appearing on your screen. You'll enjoy it.